Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name's Amanda. So in today's What's for Dinner video, I have some easy, delicious, and budget-friendly meal ideas for you. And I'm even trying out a brand new kitchen appliance that I bought. So I'm excited to kind of show how that turned out for y'all. So let's go ahead and get into these recipes. First up, we have cheesesteak stuffed peppers. So I actually saw these over at Anna's Home Cooking. So Anna made them and they looked really good. And I decided I wanted to try them too. So I'll have her channel linked below as well as the recipe and everything. So make sure to check the description box for that. But right now I'm just getting the peppers cleaned out and getting those ready because we're actually going to stuff the peppers with kind of like the cheesesteak mixture. So that was a little different. I've kind of done cheesesteaks, but I've never done them in just like a pepper like that. So it looked really good and I was excited to try this new recipe. Now we actually bake those peppers first, and while that's baking, I'm going to go ahead and get these onions sliced up, and we're going to also slice up the mushrooms too. And of course you can feel free to leave whatever out or add whatever into this you want. I think this is more that traditional. I mean, a lot of times you find mushrooms and onions and peppers and all that kind of stuff, and I love that combination. Like, I love peppers and onions and mushrooms, so good. So this was the first time I actually tried this beef shaved steak from Kroger, and y'all, this was really good. My husband is not a veggie eater, so he just wanted some of it plain, and he absolutely loved that. And a lot of times I've bought like deli roast beef to do sandwiches like this with and stuff, but this was so very good. And I think it was on sale for like $4.99 for almost a pound, so I felt like that was a pretty good deal. I went ahead and seasoned it up with that buttery garlic seasoning. So we're just going to finish cooking this, and once it's done, we're going to pull it out of the pan and set it to the side. And then in that same pan, we're going to cook our onions and our mushrooms. So it's going to pick up a lot of that flavor from the meat as well and get some of that in there. And now y'all can use whatever seasonings you want for the meat too, by the way. So just whatever you like will be good in there. I just threw some of that buttery garlic one in there. And then I've got some butter that I want to saute these onions and mushrooms with and get those all good and cooked. And again, with this, cook them to your liking. If you want them a little more crunchy, then, do that. So now our peppers are ready to be filled. They've baked for a little bit. We're going to finish up this filling. So I've got some garlic powder, some vegetable seasoning, pepper, all that kind of stuff. You can use whatever seasonings you want. The recipe didn't really necessarily call for any specific seasonings other than like garlic and salt and pepper. So I just kind of added different things we liked. And I think that's a lot of times best because you kind of know what your family enjoys and you can add those things to it as well. So like I said, we're just going to let these go for just a little bit and get all good and sauteed up. And then we're actually going to put our meat back in the pan and then mix that together. And we're going to use that to fill our peppers. Now, I decided to go ahead and save the 2 green peppers, or the halves, and set them aside and just fix kind of what we would eat for the most part for that night. And so I actually just did the yellow and the orange pepper that I baked with all the filling in it. And so that gave me some leftover filling and peppers to have another time. So we're just going to top these with the filling, and then I also used white American cheese. You could use whatever cheese that you like. Provolone would probably be good. Some people might like Swiss. Experiment with what you like best. I thought white American would be kind of a little more traditional for like a cheesesteak. And so here they are after they've baked just a little bit to melt that cheese. And I served it with a side salad. And y'all, this was really good. Especially, I was very impressed with that filling with the meat. I really liked that. So I actually have already bought more. We're going to actually cook up some more meat to use for steak sandwiches. Now, if you enjoy recipes like this, I do all kinds of what's for dinners, all kinds of food content on my channel. I'd love for you to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. But let's go ahead and get into this next recipe. So I'm going to actually grill a pork tenderloin. I've got 2 pork tenderloins. They're probably about a pound or so a piece in that bag. And then I added a little bit of Italian dressing, probably about a cup and a half of that. I let that sit on the counter for about 30-45 minutes and marinate while I went ahead and got the Ninja Foodi Grill preheated. So now this is my brand new appliance I got. They had it on special at Sam's, and I went ahead and picked it up, and so I'm really excited to use it. We were very impressed this night, y'all. So I definitely would love to know if you have a foodie grill, and if you do, what all you like to make in it. So let me know in the comments below. So we're also going to roast some coleslaw mix and some cauliflower. I needed to use up that coleslaw mix, and I thought, why not roast it? Because I've seen a lot of times roasted cabbage and stuff like that. So I thought this would be pretty good, and it actually turned out really good, so I highly recommend that. We used that buttery garlic blend again, so we've been using that quite a bit. And I just roast this at 400 degrees. I really probably cooked it about as long as I did the pork tenderloin, which ended up probably being around 25 minutes or so. I actually tried to go by the Foodie Grill actually came with like a manual, and like some recipes and with that. And I kind of went through that and looked at the times for that. But I'll have to admit it cooked a little hotter than that, so I'm gonna have to make some adjustments next time. But once this is preheated, you actually just add the food straight on there, and then you're gonna shut that lid, and it's gonna start cooking for you. Now, the time said 35 minutes, but I went ahead and peeked on it a little less than halfway through just to check it, and it was getting a little dark for me, so I went ahead and actually turned it down to low and let it finish cooking like that on low. And now I didn't realize it at the time, but it will give you like a little alert to flip your food like halfway through, which I thought was really neat. I didn't know I was going to do that. But here you can see it's already getting those nice grill marks on it. Like, I thought that was so cool because it really looks like a grilled pork tenderloin. I mean, like, even though this is kind of like, it also has like an air fryer. It does, I think it dehydrates. It's got several different functions. And so here it is done. I went ahead and just checked the temperature to make sure, and it was good. So I was happy with that. And I really can't recommend a kitchen thermometer more just because of the fact that, like with this, I'm going to definitely have to play around with times to make sure, and temperatures, just to make sure I don't overcook things or undercook things. But I'm loving this so far. I'm really excited to get to use it again. So I went ahead and thought, well, I'll throw some green beans on there too, so that we can have a little more color with all our food. And I'm just putting onion powder, garlic powder, all that type of stuff on here. So y'all can just put anything, that you like to season your green beans with. Now, this shows 3 minutes is what I cooked it on high, but I actually kind of had to, keep going a little longer till it got to our liking. Again, it depends on how you like, your green beans and stuff. So it's definitely something I'm going to have to experiment a little bit with, but I'm really excited to try some other things. So now that my tenderloin has rested, I'm going to go ahead and slice that up and get that ready to eat. Y'all, this was so good. It turned out amazing in that Ninja Foodi Grill. And by the way, this is not sponsored or anything. It was just, I've been actually wanting something that's more dishwasher safe. My air fryer is not. And pretty much every part of this is dishwasher safe, and I absolutely love that. So I thought I'd try and see, and so far we're loving it. But the green beans were done. We've got our cabbage and our cauliflower done, so that's all ready to go. So now we've just got it all plated up. Even my kids that don't like pork liked this. I was blown away. They said, if you cook it like this, we'll eat it every time. So I cannot recommend it enough. This was very good. Another huge plus is that grill doesn't even heat up the house. I love that too. So let's go ahead and get into our salmon patties with peas and dumplings and mashed potatoes. So I spared y'all the watching of me debone the salmon because it's in a can and it does have bones. You can eat the bones, but my mom used to always pick them out when I was a kid. And this is actually, I think, the first time I've ever made salmon patties. So I've just got some seasonings going in there. Some Old Bay, garlic powder, black pepper, onion powder, some crushed Ritz crackers, and an egg. I just kind of looked at a few recipes and did my own thing. Now, have y'all ever made salmon patties? If you have, let me know. Like, if you have a certain recipe that you really love, because I'd love to try it too, because I really do like salmon patties. They're really good. So I just mixed this all well, and then I'm just patting them out into patties. My goal was to get 5 out of here because I wanted us each to have 1, and that worked out perfectly. I actually got 5, so that was awesome. And those are just the canned biscuits we'll use in the peas and dumplings. I actually had my husband open the can for me and we just set them on that tray because I cannot stand the pop that makes when you try to open canned biscuits. I don't know, it drives me crazy. So my husband always does it for me, or one of my kids does it or something like that, because I just do not like opening those packages. Tell me I'm not alone. Let me know if you hate those packages too where they pop like that. The only kinds of peas I use for my peas and dumplings is the LeSueur peas. They are the best. I'm actually not a fan of peas, but I love those. I've got 2 of those cans in there along with half a stick of butter, and then I've got the potatoes started back there. And we're just going to cut the biscuits up into chunks, just however you'd like to cut them, because we're going to use those as the dumplings in our peas and dumplings. So once the dumplings come to a boil, then we're going to add these to that. And so I just kind of had the salmon patties sitting there waiting while I got that in there, because the peas and dumplings are going to need to cook for about 20 to 25 minutes just to get those dumplings good and done. And here I am dropping them in there. You may want to stir ever so often and just make sure that, you kind of make a little room for some more in there. And then you're also going to want to cover them too. Now, I just covered them with foil. I don't think I have the lid anymore to this pot, if I'm not mistaken, but so I just covered it with foil and then, let it cook for about 20, 25 minutes on a kind of a low, just so it simmers and gets that biscuit dough nice and cooked and turned into basically like little dumplings. This is so good. My mom made it all the time when I was a kid. I don't see it a lot. So let me know if you've ever heard of peas and dumplings because I don't feel like a lot of people even know about it, but it's so good. So very good. So we're just going to fry the salmon patties in some oil on about medium heat. Now I have to say this soaked up way more oil than I was comfortable with. So I'm definitely going to tweak this a little bit, maybe use less oil, maybe even try them in the air fryer or in that new, Ninja Foodi Grill or something like that. So I'm definitely going to play with this because we really enjoyed them. They were really, really good. And I probably fried these for about 4 to 5 minutes on each side. Really, the only thing not done in them is just the eggs. So you're just making sure you get that fully cooked and everything heated through. You just want them golden brown on each side. And y'all, if you've never had a salmon patty, as long as you like fish, of course, then you definitely need to try salmon patties. They're just so good. My mom used to make them when we were kids, and so it's just something I always remember eating. And even though my husband can be kind of picky, he actually will eat salmon patties. So I'm always glad to have an additional thing he'll eat too. So I'm just removing them from the skillet and I'm putting them on a plate lined with a paper towel. Just kind of soak up a little bit of that extra grease. And then I'm going to also fry that other one. I didn't show that to y'all since it's the same process. But here they are. And then there's the mashed potatoes all good and done. And I just add some half and half and butter and mash those and they're good. And then here's the peas and dumplings. Y'all, I'm serious. Like, this is good Southern cooking, okay? So, like, if you haven't tried peas and dumplings, I really encourage you to because they are so delicious. But this food was so good. It was truly Southern comfort food. I hope y'all have enjoyed this video. If you have, I'd appreciate if you'd give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, I'd love it if you'd hit that subscribe button and join my YouTube family. I hope you have a blessed day wherever you are. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one.